Hello everyone, my name is Matti McLean. I am the Big Shabam on Twitter and Instagram, and today I am ranking the Zelda games. Zelda is probably my favorite game series, surprising no one. I have a Zelda tattoo on my wrist that you can't even see right now because of the light. There you go, you can kind of see it. There it is, Triforce, right there. Yeah, this is probably my favorite series of all time, and rightfully so. I think everyone loves it. But have all of their games been a massive success? No, but let's go into that here, because why not? So we're going to start here with A Link Between Worlds for some reason. I don't know why they're putting this there. It was okay. I have no issues with Link Between Worlds. I have no issues with how it played. It was good. It was solid. I like I'm probably the only person, but I really like the whole mechanic where you would actually buy the items and then you could kind of use them in any order you wanted to. I thought that was really cool. So, yeah, Zelda Link Between Worlds for 3DS, definitely keep that in there. Zelda Link to the Past is a classic. It's memories. It's just that nostalgic kick to the pants that you're just like, oh, that's nice. That's good. Everyone likes it. Four Swords Adventures. I feel like I might enjoy this one more if I had friends. But as it stands, it's not a bad game. It's just kind of one that never really did much. If you didn't have the GameCube controller and 4 Game Boy Advances and 3 connector cables that would connect into the GameCube, it kind of made it pointless to play. And as such, like, there's this Link to the Past plus 4 Swords. I'm just going to stick that down there anyways because it's a Link to the Past. It's already up here, but it's 4 Swords as well. So it's like taking something good and then making it slightly more tedious. So there's that to keep in mind. So I'm not going to really justify it anymore. Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening was good. I see they don't have the remake on here. So I'm just going to assume this is for both it and the remake. So let's pop this in where I think it should go. Lame end to the story, but fun gameplay. I keep it in that realm. Wow, Majora's Mask. This is going to surprise no one, but it's one of the best. I'm not the first one to say that. I know I'm not the only one to say that, but it's well deserved. It's creepy. It's good. It has some points that are just masterful storytelling. For something that was really, really under a time crunch, like they made it in less than a year, I think, maybe slightly more than a year, but like it was a fast turnaround time. And they cranked that out in no time using the same assets, and the fact that they could do all that in such a short amount of time and still create such an engaging and intense story. Like looking up and just seeing that moon, everyone crapped themselves the first time. It's just what it is. So alright, continuing on, we have Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is equally good, but not quite as good as Majora's Mask. I would say, my greatest shame is that I've played Ocarina of Time many times. I've never beaten it. And I have played this like no less than 20 times. And each time I'll get to about the Spirit Temple, I think. And then I'll just go to Gerudo Valley and just chill out with the music. And then for some reason, I'll never pick the controller up again. That's more my problem than anyone else's. But for what it is, like I know how it ends. I remember watching how it ended when I was a kid because my friend beat it like a million times. Yeah, I don't really have much to say there other than my shame of not finishing it. But that's a me thing. That's not a you thing. I don't need to subject anyone else to that. Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Man, I wanted these to be good. And they're fine. Like, bad Zelda is still better than, like, 90% of other games out there. But I would still say, well, maybe not, like, the CDI series, because those are a little rough. But for, like, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, yeah, they're fine. They don't do anything that breaks the mold. They don't do anything that, like, you don't go crazy with it, but it's nice enough. I like how they're just like Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. I'm just like, seasons are just different ages. So like every time you change the season, are you technically going backwards and forwards through time? I don't know. Because all ages is that you go backwards and forward through time. So there's some... I'm looking too much into this. Phantom Hourglass is fine. I would say compared to like this and Spirit... Wait, which one's which? No, it was Spirit Tracks first and then Phantom Hourglass, wasn't it? Which was the one with the dungeon? Because I didn't like that dungeon. That dungeon was annoying. But you know what? They're both kind of the same realm. No, I think it was Phantom Hourglass. That Hourglass timer, because you only have so long in the main dungeon. You have to keep going back there. And that freaking... You go through that dungeon like how many times throughout the game? It's ridiculous. Why does it make you do that? I don't know. I don't pretend to know. But anyways, there it is. Skyward Sword is... I don't know. Up here, I guess? No, it's not. I really, like, everyone wanted to like Skyward Sword. It was such an interesting idea. It should have been, that's all I have to say. It should have been. It should. And speaking of it should have been, I'm going to take, I just saw Minish Cap down there. It's charming. It's a charming little Game Boy Advance game. You find out how Link got his hat. It's not the most, like, crazy of stories, but you find out how he got his hat. So that's important enough to warrant its own game, apparently. Next, we have Triforce Heroes, and I can honestly say I was not I don't know what they were trying... It's kind of the same situation as Four Swords. I don't know what they were trying to get across with this Triforce Heroes thing, but it didn't really work. It wasn't fun to play, even when you were just playing by yourself and you had the two computer players. It's not great. I don't recommend it often. If I have a choice between this and most other Zelda games, I'm probably going to choose most other Zelda games. I'm surprised they actually consider it canon, to be frank. But, whatever. It is what it is. Next up, we have... The Adventures of Link. It's another rough one. This is one that's a classic. But, is it a C? No, it's not a C game. It's definitely D. But I'll put it above the cooperative games, because Zelda, I feel I would love a cooperative Zelda game that's not garbage. So maybe that'll happen in Breath of the Wild 2, but I won't hold my breath, because why would I do that? Anyways, next up we have the original Legend of Zelda. Such a groundbreaking game at its time. Like, this was, I don't know if it was the first open world game, but it's at least one of the first. And you can see that the bones that they set out here are still being repeated to this day. So, yeah, there's a lot of good there. There's a lot of really cool things that happen. There's a lot of secrets that kind of appear throughout the game. It's classic. Like, how can you not like original Zelda? It is the grandfather of all of these other ones. So if you like any of the other ones, you'll probably like this one too. Wind Waker. Wind Waker is... definite S tier. I can't justify putting this game anywhere else. The art style is hilarious. It's cool. It's beautiful. It's held up so much better. I remember when it was released, it got slagged, man. No one wanted to play this game for the longest time because everyone was just like, oh, it looks stupid. And just, you look back on it now, you're just like, no, this was brilliant. Toon Zelda is a badass. Toon Link is a badass. Also, Toon Zelda is a badass until she becomes Zelda. When she's Tetra, she's great. When she's Zelda, she doesn't really do anything. But that's my own personal pieces there. I would have to say that Legend of Zelda Wind Waker is definitely worth your time. I hope they release it on the Switch one day, because it would be, if they could release all of these remakes at the same time, it would be great. So we have Twilight Princess, and I don't think this is an S tier. I think there's a few crucial things holding it back. Number one being Wolf Link isn't as fun to play as you want him to be. Number two being that they were trying to go like overly dark and spooky and moody, and that doesn't really translate well. I feel like this is why Wind Waker holds up better than Twilight Princess. But for what it is, it's still great. Like, everyone loves... I guess most people love it now. Maybe not so much at the time, but... yeah, there's a lot to love about Twilight Princess. Really cool art style. Midna is a fantastic character. Yeah, I would say of the options, I can't believe I haven't even talked about the sidekicks yet. Ugh, that's a study. I'm also one of the few people who doesn't mind Navi, but now replaying the game, I'm just like, how is this okay? She's constant. I hear Fi's worse, but I just don't want to do too much more of that again. My brain's blocked out a lot of what I've played. Breath of the Wild. Oh. Is it better than Majora's Mask? It's open, it's free, it's... Am I going by story or by gameplay? Because story, Majora's Mask wins. Gameplay, Breath of the Wild wins. And, like, it's not a contest either way. Like, story, flat out, Majora's Mask, best Zelda. Gameplay, flat out, Breath of the Wild. Because it's revolutionary. It really is. And what they did there set the groundwork for so many other games that came after. I think this is it for me. I think my main Zelda is going to be Breath of the Wild, and I think Majora's Mask is going to be my number 2. So I'm going to compare this to the ranking that everyone else did, and see how I compare. So what we have here, I don't know why this is doing this now. Watch me struggle. So up in S tier, no surprise, they have Ocarina of Time, they have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, they have A Link to the Past, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess on top. Okay, so I'm not far off, but it looks like their 1 and 2, their S tier is also my S and A tier. And then my A tier is kind of like my B tier. It's almost perfectly in line. Only I have Minish Cap and Spirit Tracks up higher than they do. Oh, quite a disparity between Spirit Tracks. I'm wondering if I'm mixing them up. That was the one with the train. I like the train. Anyways, I have original Zelda up here. They have it in A tier. That's fine. Sorry, I have it in A tier. They have it in B tier. I see what they did. Yeah, they have Skyward Sword there. I don't agree with that. I think it should be C tier. It is more. But the Oracle of Ages and Seasons is dead on. The Phantom Hourglass, dead on. And then bottom, yeah, the bottoms line up pretty... Not even pretty exactly. Our bottoms line up directly, like 1-to-1 ratio. I could not change this. So it looks like I'm fairly on brand in terms of like Zelda consensus overall. And yeah, I hope that this is something that you found fascinating because I love Zelda and I can talk about it all day long. And in fact, one day I probably will. But until then, you can watch me here and I will do more rankings, and you can watch me rank Eurovision or American Song Contest or whatever random thing or quiz I'm taking that day. So thank you very much for stopping by. My name is Matti McLean. If you like me, subscribe. It helps me out. If you don't like me, leave a comment because that helps me out. So I will see you later, and if there's any future topics you want me to go over, just leave a note. All right, bye guys.